Hello everyone, thanks for joining us. We're at Station 63 for Clark County Fire District 6. My name is David Schmidtke. I'm the Public Information Officer here. We're glad you could join us because we want to talk about a very important subject, something that's I know is near and dear to all of you who are watching. It's the EMS levy, and we would just want to have a little Q&A, we talk it over a little bit. It's important that we're here at Station 63. This was a structure that we promised that we would build to replace our other aging station, and now it's done. We can't wait to show it to you. In the meantime, though, I'd like to introduce the two people to my left, which is Fire Chief Kristen Maurer and Fire Commissioner Chris Pfeiffer.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us this evening, or those that are viewing tonight's presentation on the Clark County Fire District 6 YouTube channel. Any questions that you may have can be typed in, and during this informational session this evening, they will be answered at the end. I'd now like to turn it over to Fire Chief Kristen Maurer.
Thank you, Commissioner Pfeiffer, and welcome to everyone who's joining us this evening. We're glad you're watching it here with us now, or you can view it later on our YouTube channel. We are happy to be holding this informational session to discuss the upcoming EMS Levy Renewal. The levy at District 6 has been in place since 1980, and it's funded our paramedic service at the department. Every 6 years, we renew that levy. We have a short PowerPoint presentation that we would like to show you that will hopefully help answer any questions you may have. And if at a later date you would like me to come to speak to any of your civic or community groups, I'd be more than happy to do that. So we'll go ahead and begin the PowerPoint. Again, this is a EMS levy renewal. It was last voted on in 2016, so we'll discuss that in the presentation. But the service area of District 6 covers over 70,000 citizens in our community, and we do that with compassion, care, and professionalism. We cover over 37 square miles, and the neighborhoods of District 6 include Hazeldale, Salmon Creek, Philida, Mount Vista, the Fairgrounds, and Lake Shore. We are a fire suppression agency, but that's not all we do. We also offer emergency medical services. Those in the form of both advanced life support, where we can give medications, help patients breathe, shock their heart into a normal rhythm, and basic life support, which is more first aid. We also do fire prevention, public education, technical rescue, and hazardous materials response. Essentially, we're an all hazards response agency. At District 6, we are transparent and accountable to our taxpayers. We operate under a balanced budget, and we are proud to be debt-free, with the exception of 2 bonds that are non-voter approved that the district has a payment plan in place for. We have also passed all of our independent audits by the state of Washington. Many people think of us as just putting out fires and being a fire service agency. However, EMS is actually the majority of what we do. That's emergency medical services. 87% of our call volume are for emergency medical service. You can see in the chart on the PowerPoint the number of EMS calls to fire calls. EMS calls is highlighted in the pink, and fire calls are highlighted in the red. So you can see the change in response that we have between EMS and fire. Many people are curious that when they call 911, why do they get such a large response? This is part of that reason. In order to save a life, it takes many hands. And you can see in this slide what each individual is responsible for on this scene. We have people that need to give medications, people that have to run a heart monitor, people that have to chart, people that have to meet with the family, so it takes many hands to save a life. Every apparatus at District 6 has a paramedic on it. That means we are capable of doing advanced life support, and those positions are what are funded by the EMS levy. We have paramedics on every apparatus because in Clark County, at any given time, there's 40 plus fire engines in service. To compare that, there's sometimes less than 10 ambulances in service. So we get the fire engines to your house faster and start treatment faster. Tissue is time, and the sooner we can get to you and give you medications and help you medically, the better the outcome. District 6 is funded through property tax. We are funded through 2 levies. The amounts are capped at voter-approved rates. The fire levy, we can collect $1.50 per thousand of assessed value. For our EMS levy, we can collect up to 50 cents per thousand of assessed value. Over time, these levy rates fall as property assessed value increases. The reason for this is we are limited to only 1% increase per year. So if the property value assessment goes above that 1%, we can't collect more than that, and the levy rate decreases. This is allowed by law. At times, we ask the community for a renewal to restore levy amounts to their original level. This helps us keep up with higher call volume and costs. This EMS levy renewal will allow us to continue to provide basic life support utilizing firefighters and EMTs and advanced life support utilizing firefighter paramedics. The funds of the EMS levy go to emergency personnel, training and certifications, maintenance, medical equipment, first aid supplies, and equipment replacement. The diagram on the PowerPoint illustrates how the EMS levy revenue is broken down. Out of our 2021 operating budget, a little over $4 million of that is collected from the EMS levy. It's a quarter of our budget. If we were to lose that levy, we would lose a quarter of our budget. It could be devastating to the services we provide. Our budget expenditures for EMS are broken down in the chart above. The majority of our expenditures for paramedic EMS service goes to personnel. That's personnel salaries and benefits. That's because at District 6, we have some of the best paramedic firefighters in the county, and that we train them to a high level, we give them the best equipment on the market, and we make sure that they are capable of doing the job that we require them to do. So you can see that, again, personnel is our greatest expenditures. Then we also have training, supplies, services, and capital, all to fund the EMS program. You may ask what renewing this levy would cost you as a homeowner. Well, if approved by voters, the EMS levy would continue funding at 45 cents per 1,000 of assessed value of your home. Again, the district could ask for up to 50 cents, but we know we can provide the current level of service and continue to grow at the 45 cent per 1,000 rate. So the owner of a $400,000 home would pay $180 a year for 24-hour, 7-day-a-week paramedic service. This equates to about $15 per month. That concludes our PowerPoint presentation. If you have any questions or comments, you can either type those in now, or you can contact me at Station 61, and it's Fire Chief Kristen Maurer. The phone number's up there, or from our website at www.ccfd6.org.
Chief, I had a couple questions just for clarification, if you don't mind. You mentioned this is not a new levy, but an extension of the old one, right?
Correct. So in 1980, District 6 was formed in 1954. And in the year 1980, the district realized that they wanted to provide more medical service because those calls were increasing. So that was the first time the district ran an EMS levy and hired paramedics. Since 1980, we have had paramedics on all of our apparatus and respond that ALS response. So again, every 6 years, that levy needs to be renewed. And so since we approved it last in 2016, it will need to be approved this year to take effect in 2023.
Okay. Now, Commissioner Pfeiffer, I was curious about something. You know, you look in the news in the last few months, it just seems like there are levies running all over Clark County. Vancouver Fire just passed a levy lid lift of sorts, and then we have other agencies. So how do we keep people from knowing that they are only, participating in this particular levy?
Right. At this time, there are two neighboring agencies, Clark Cowlitz Fire Rescue and Clark County Fire District 5, which both have levies this upcoming voting season. Our levy here at Clark County Fire District 6 is only voted upon residents living within Hazeldale, Salmon Creek, Philida, the Fairgrounds, Mount Vista, and Lake Shore. So only residents within those communities will be voting to renew this levy.
Good, I appreciate that. That just gets really confusing sometimes, where every time you turn, am I in that boundary? Am I in this one? So, well, all right. And again, what's the best way, if people still have questions about this, what's the best way to get in touch with either of you two?
Well, the easiest way is through our website at www.ccfd6.org. On that website, you'll find a link to both my email and Commissioner Pfeiffer's email. You'll also find a link to a phone number for the main station, which is 360-576-1195. You could call that number and ask for either one of us at any time.
All right, thank you both very much. We can't wait to get to show you this new station, and we will do that as soon as we're sure we're clear with all the pandemic stuff. So in the meantime, though, just to let you know, we are going to have our open house this year. That's at Station 61, Saturday, June 4th from noon to 4. Free hot dogs, Coke, pop, kids get to squirt the fire hose. We'll cut open a car for you. So please come and check us out. I want to do special thanks today to Chief David Schmidt as our AV expert, and I want to thank you again for watching.
From the audience, my name's Ed Falk. I'm a longtime real estate broker here in Clark County, and I've watched for years the fabulous service that District 6 has provided. But we have increasing growth in our communities, and I would assume that that's putting more demand upon your services. What type of demand increase are you seeing, and what's the plan to take care of that demand?
So just to let you know, we do have a gentleman in the office, Ed Falk. He's a local realtor, and he asked that what kind of a increased demand have we had for our services, and what our plans are to deal with that in the future. Chief?
Yes. Do you want me to answer that, Commissioner? So we know that we have 7,500 homes coming into our community in the next couple years. A lot of that development is up north by the fairgrounds area, but we're getting a ton of infill within the core of District 6, so your Hazeldale, Salmon Creek, Philida, Lakeshore areas. And some of that infill is high density housing, so apartment buildings where we'll have multiple residents, and there are also buildings that sometimes require more manpower to fight fires and respond to EMS calls in because of stairs and access and that kind of thing. So we are seeing a huge amount of growth in Clark County. Our call volume over the last 10 years has increased about 20%. And as call volume increases, that means we're busier, we're running more calls, and in order to do that and do it to the level of service we do today, we have to hire more personnel and put more apparatus on the road. Those are all very expensive endeavors, and the district prides itself on staying proactive and ahead of that growth rather than trying to be reactive where you would see an increase in response times and a lesser level of service. So this EMS levy will keep us in the proactive route. It will also continue to fund the services that we provide today while allowing us the room to grow with the community.
Thank you, Chief. Good question, Ed. Appreciate that. Did you have any more questions?
No, I'm very proud of this group of folks, hardworking individuals that really care about our community. So I fully support this levy, and I hope all of our residents will support it as well.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, sir, and I appreciate you attending too.
Glad to be here.
All right, if we have no other questions that have been entered, I think that's it for now. And again, I want to thank you both for helping educate the community about this EMS levy. And again, thanks again for watching.